going to I'm going to take you through Microsoft Power BI. But this is the very first introduction to Microsoft Power BI, and I'm going to assume that you have installed your Microsoft Power BI desktop application. And to start, Microsoft Power BI is three elements. It is the Microsoft Power BI desktop application, the Power BI mobile, and then Power BI service. So the Power BI desktop is this application which I've opened here, and this one is useful for creating reports, right? And you design and create reports here, and having created those reports, you can design them to suit on a mobile in case you have published them and someone wants to see those reports on a mobile device. That's when you can make use of Microsoft Power BI for mobile. Then when you have created these reports, you then publish them to Power BI Online, and that Power BI Online is called Power BI Service. So this actually create what are called dashboards, right? Because the things that we create here, all the elements that we create in Microsoft Power BI Desktop here, they are not reports. Then publish them, and then from those reports you then make what dashboards. So that is it. That's a short introduction. So Power BI desktop has three views, right? There's this report view, the first one. Then there's the table view. Then there's the model view. And there's also this DAX view and then TDML view. And we are not going to be worried about these last two. We are worried about the report view, the table view, and the model view. Alright. And then apart from that one, if you click on the report view, there are these three elements here which I need to go through, right? They are these filters. These filters, they are used to slice our data. For example, we need to filter to see the data that is for 2025 only or for a particular month. That's where you can make use of these filters. And there are three level filters, right? There is the filters. There are report level filters, right? This one's and report and the filters on all pages. Then this one, that is the page level filter, and the last one is the visual level filter. I think you will see that one, right? Then there is this view here that we have here where it's written visualizations, and from here this is where you can pick a visualization that you want, right? And there are a number of visualizations, and even beyond these ones that are displayed here, you can get more visuals from the store or from online here. So there are a number of visuals that you can make use of. But here, I think the default ones are here: stacked bar chart, stacked column chart, line chart, area chart, tree map, then the input slicers, the card, the pie chart, among many other charts at your disposal. Right. So these are the charts. So to get started, I think maybe before I go there, there's here. So let's say you have gotten your data into Microsoft Power BI, you will see that data here and all the tables that you would have added, right? So the entire data analysis cycle starts from getting the data from data sources, right? So to do that, there is what is called the ETL, which stands for extract, transform, and load. So by extracting, we are saying we are trying to extract the data or to connect it to various data sources so that that data can be available in Microsoft Power BI desktop for analysis, right? Yeah. So to get data, we don't connect directly to the data sources, but we make use of what are called connectors, right? So Power BI has built-in connectors that can help you to connect to various data sources, right? For example, if you click on this icon here, there's a bucket and a table, something like that there. Then there are various data sources. There's Excel workbook, semantic models, data flows, SQL Server, text or CSV, among many other things, right? And assuming that you know the type of file that has your data that you need to load into Power BI, you just select the type of a file, right? For example, Microsoft Excel book. And in case you don't know the type of a file that you would want to import here, you make use of this all data feed. It accepts any file type. So that is the thing. But here, I think for the sake of this lesson, I'm going to make use of this Excel workbook. So I'm going to click on Excel workbook there, so that I can import my data into Power BI, right? So this one, I'm going to come over here on Microsoft Power BI, Adventureworks DB, then right, and having opened that, it will connect to my data source, right? Then having done that, it will open this page here. That is that one is the navigator, right? And you can see here those tables. They are tables with a blue on top. Then there are those plain tables there. So let's say if your data is formatted in Microsoft Excel workbook, right, is formatted as a table, so that data it will be shown in two. For example, here there is a sales 2020 up to 2022, right? And there are also corresponding tables. So it means that this is the name of the sheet, and then within that sheet, the data that is in the sheet is formatted as a table. So they'll be displayed like what? Like two, right? And for the sake of this lecture, I'm going to select sales 2020, 2021, and 2022. Then I also select sales people data. Then what else? Product data, location data, customer data, budget data. What else here? Do we have products? Well, let me not select these tables. Let me go down so that I can select those without the blue. There I've selected sales, all the sales tables. I need that budgeting one, budget two, the customers, the date ranges, the locations, the products, the sales people, right? I think this is the data that we want. So make sure that you have selected 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 tables that we need. Then here there is extract, load. Then you can transform later, or extract, transform, and load. But I think it's recommended to follow the extract, then transform, right? Then this is the ETL. So now we are on the T part, which is what? Transforming. So Power BI makes use of a Power Query Editor window. The Power Query Editor window is the ETL tool, which is inbuilt within what? Within Microsoft Power BI. So it helps you to do the data cleaning and the transformation processes, right? So this is what we have here. I think so. Given this, these are the queries that we have, and by queries I mean those are the tables that you have loaded into Power BI here. And on this right side here, you can see that is the name of the table. And if you click on that, you can change the name of the table by typing a name that you want, right? And then these are the steps that have been applied. So Microsoft Power BI is what is called the inbuilt intelligence that can to see the steps that have been applied automatically to your what? To your document. And if there are any steps that you would want to add here, it will be shown in this one, right? It will be shown in this step. If you have added the step, it will be added here, right? So here we are going to do the data transformation. We need to transform our data, right? Where we sort things like data type, yeah. So we are going to start from budgeting one here. We'll come back to sales, right? On budgeting one, what are the things that we can do to clean that data so that it can be fit? We are going to check on the data type. That one is a text, right? And you can change from one data type to another. And this is text. I think it's fine. Name, location name. I think that one is fine. Maybe let's just say location. Okay, let's leave it like that. Then there's that revenue. I think that one is supposed to be dollars. So we are going to select fixed decimal number. Right? Then here it's saying the column selected what would you like to replace the existing convention or preserve the existing convention and add a new separate step. So let me say add new separate step here. Step is added. So in case something have gone wrong and I can revert back to the what? To the previous stage before I made that what? That change. So you can see that. You can add a step and you can delete a step. I think this one is done for now. Maybe let me just say, let me not say, if you double click on the name of the table, you can edit like budget name, right? Okay, let me say budget 1, right? That is our table. And you can change from here again. You can begin to type whatever you want over there. So you can change from this left side or from that far right side. Right? It's also possible. Then on budget 2, let's see. What do we need to change here? Month, that one is the text, that is good. This one, allocation, let me change this one from a number to decimal number. Okay, it's already a decimal number. Let's leave it like that. Budget 2, let's just give a space between that budget and the 2. Then customers, right? That one, I think you can see here, it's written column 1, column 2. And the names of the columns here, there's customer ID and the customer name. It's not a column header. So how do we do that? You make use of this this part here. It's written use the first row as what? As headers, right? And on that drop down, there's use the first row as headers or use headers as first row, right? So we are going to select use the first row as what? As headers, right? You can see here. It's saying promoted headers, then it changed the data type. So that is called the promoting headers, where you can change the the rows into what? Into row headers. That is how you do it. You just say use the first row as headers, and in case something have gone wrong, I want to say use headers as first. It will be something like this. Right, and here we have said we need to say use the first row as what? As headers. And here you can see here, right? There's that first, there's that name joined together, and in case you need to divide that into maybe first name and last name, you come here where it says split column. Then here you can split by number of criterion, by delimiter, number of characters, positions, etc. But here I'm going to select that delimiter because that is there's a space separator between the last name and the first name. So I'm going to select the rightmost operator in case a person has two names, right? So I'm going to select the rightmost. So it will divide by the first space that we see from the right. Right? Then I select what? Okay. You see, it's now divided into first name and last name. And I can come over there, I double click, I say first name, right? And I can go over there, I say what? Last name. You see. So that is how we do it here. You can separate, you can split a column, right? And let's say we want to say maybe this is what we have. You can also add a column, right? And let's say something have gone wrong here, you can delete this, or you can also add a column, right? And to add a column, you come over here where it says add column, right? And there are two types of columns that you can create. You can create column from examples, right? From examples, let me say you come over here on the drop down, then I say from selection, then it will give us this, right? Then here, this is where you type the template of the thing that you want, right? Here, let's type Thomas, right? We are taking that first name Thomas, then Duncan, right? Then it will start what I've typed there. Then it will give me it will populate the format. Then I have the option to accept or cancel. Then this is what I want because I need to combine the first name and the last name. Then I accept what? The changes. Okay. Then I have that merged what? Merged column, which combines the first name and the last name. You see, name this one column from example. So you can add the column from what? From example. That is the first way. And from that, you can also add custom column, right? From here, where you can add maybe let me say full name, right? Then what I do is I need to add the first name. Then maybe I say I concatenate. I think we were concatenating in Excel, and here we can concatenate like I need a space doing that, right? Then I concatenate the first name, those two quotes and then the last name. You see. Then I select what? Okay. You can see now. It's created. So that is it on creating a column. Right? You can combine the first name using the column from example, or you can add a custom column. So that one, those two options give you a flexibility on using the on using these two options of adding columns. They give you that flexibility. So that is it. So here I'm going to remove these steps. I just have added them for demonstration purposes, right? And we have said you can delete the steps. Look, now I'm deleting the steps and I'm here. Let's move on. Date ranges. Is there anything that we need to change? No. Questions? Anything? Do we need to change anything here? The latitude here, it's fine. Area code, population, it's fine. The data. Median income, that one is not a decimal number. We need to say fixed decimal number so that it can be formatted as a what? As a currency. Then the area, time zone. I think that one is fine. Let's then I'm going to move on to the next maybe here on date ranges. Let me just say, right, that one I formatted. I give it a name, the date table. Then moving on to the products, what else do we need to change here? The cost, that one is not a decimal number, only it's a fixed decimal number, right? Add new step, original price, format, that one is the price, right? Here it's no longer adding a new step, right? Then I say fixed decimal number, price, that one again is fixed decimal number. Let's move on. Taxes, it's also a fixed decimal number. Right, then moving on to salespeople. Yeah, this one is not looking good. So we need to use the first row as what? Headers. Let's go to transform. Let's go to home. Then I say use the first row as what? As headers. Then you can see here it's promoted, right? Then from there I will move on to this one, right? There are many things that you can do here. You can choose the columns, right? Let me come over to this one. I'll demonstrate from this. If you come over here, you can say remove columns, right? Let's say I've selected this, Then I say remove columns. It means I would have removed those columns that I've selected. Are you seeing that? Right? So you can use that remove columns option or remove other columns. So this remove other columns will remove those columns which are not selected, right? Like this. All other columns will be removed. Right, those are some of the things that you can do, and from here you can duplicate the column. You see I have that copy here, so let me just delete this. You can duplicate a column. You can remove duplicates. Let's say this one is duplicates. You can also remove errors in case there are errors there. You can change the data type. You can transform, and there's this rounding absolute power, square root, text transformations where you can trim, uppercase, lowercase, clean, etc. Those are the things that you can do. Then you can do this group by, right? Let me just come over here. Then I say, we need to say group by. We need to group by what? Group by product name. Then the count of rows for each product. Then I just say here. Are you seeing that? For each product, those are the count of rows, right? So you can see here each product think energy, you don't know the count of rows for that what? For that product. Are you seeing that? Right. Grouped rows, let's remove that. Let me demonstrate that one from here. Let me say for that. Let me say from this one, I say group by. let's group by customer ID. We want to see all the rows associated with that customer. So you can see here, right? From 1 up to what? Up to 6 rows. Are you seeing that? Let me remove this. Then from here, you can fill down or fill up in case they are empty cells. You can fill them up or down, right? Or you can pivot or unpivot columns. By pivoting, we are transforming these rows into columns and columns into what? Into rows. So what you can do here, you can come over here and I say what? Unpivot columns. Are you seeing that? Um, this one is now changed. It has changed that one. Let me see. Let me come over here. Right. Let me do this. Right. Let me select this so that you can see. Right. Um, if I say unpivot columns, are you seeing now that the rows are now columns and columns are now what? Are now rows. Are you seeing that? Then I can also say, I can also do this. Let me select this one. Then I want pivot the other what? Other columns. Right? All rows will be turned into columns and columns into what? Into rows. That is the simple explanation on pivot. That is the simple explanation on pivot. Right. Yeah, so that is it in short. That is it on in short. Then also there's this, you can move left, right, etc. But these ones, we don't know about them. Right. Then also, I think let me explain what are these before I move on to how you can combine these two. Right. There's also this. Right. From here you can transpose. Transpose. Treat rows as columns and columns as what? As rows. Well, transpose creates rows as columns and columns as rows. Then there's this option. This and pivot here. Right. Uh, Translate all but currently selected columns into attribute pair values. Well, I think I made a mistake earlier. This one would translate all selected columns into attribute value pairs. I think I will demonstrate this here, right? So if I do this, I say unpivot columns, right? Are you seeing now that there was that ID, right? Then on order ID, there's that value pair where we have this attribute, then the value for the attribute, then the value of the attribute. I think on this one it does not make much sense. I'll look for a perfect example. And then you can reverse rows. Use the first row as headers. You group by. That is what aggregating the data. Then here detect data type. Maybe you don't know the data type associated with that. You can use built-in intelligence to detect the data type. Then from that, you can split a column. I think I explained this. Then here you can format like lowercase, uppercase, trim, clean, add prefix, chi. For example, here you can say add prefix. We need add a on each and every value, right? It's now written a or id, something like that. Or you can add the what? A suffix. That is the thing. Then from here, you can also use this option to extract first characters. Here we need to extract first 3 characters, right? So that you can see. Uh, Extracted the first 3. Let me do this in that column. First, right? Let me see how many characters. How many starting characters to keep? Let me say 5. right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Extracted the first. Are you seeing that? So here we have Pasarapina 1, 2, 3, 4. All those other ones, they what? They were removed. So that is extracting. We want to extract certain characters from the text. And here there are some statistical operations where you can perform the sum, minimum, maximum, average, standard deviation, etc. Are you seeing that? Then, think from that, you can add the column. This one I explained. Then on view here, there are three important elements that you have to understand. There are three important elements that you must understand, right? There's data column quality, column distribution, and column profile, right? Those they help us to see the quality of the data, the profile of each and every column, then the quality of the data within that within that column, right? So if you click on this here, right, shows the details about the quality of the data on a preview, right? If you click like this, the qualities are like how many valid columns, how many errors, or how many are empty. You can see from here. For example, here, all the 100% values in this column are valid. And there is no what? There is no error. But if there were erroneous values, you would see a error, you would see 5%, which means 5% of the values in that column, you have an what? You have an error. So that's what it means. Right? So this one basically it shows the quality of the quality details of the data that we have. Right? And then from that, you just have to tick that one, then it can show you the quality details. Then from that, you can see the profile of the what? Of the column, right? It will show the uh, column profile details on the what? On the pen, right? Then I click on column profile here. I want to understand the profile of this. The how many errors, how many empty, how many distinct, how many unique, the number of columns, the number of items in this, right? Then here, if I click on this, right, you can see those items are changing. I can see per column. You can see now. This is the value distribution. Okay, this one. Ndio Kawanda, almost 33%. Then this one, though the lowest, almost what? 13%. Right, which means the values in this one, 13% is employee, 10 for one. This one. Though data repara my sales actual. My list are going employee 1041. Then the highest number of values are going employee 34. Are you seeing that? Right. Then here the how many unique items, how many distinct values here? We have distinct values 45. Do we have unique items? There are not no unique items, which means the items in this are repeated, isn't it? Which means the items are repeated. And from here you can see, okay, how many dates my values are when this date is 2020. Then their list when this date is done at 2020. Those are the details. And that is the profile of the column. That is the profile of the column. You can see the average, the maximum, the minimum, the standard deviation for the values etc. Right. That is it on column profile. Then column distribution. Right. I think if you right, let me go there. Right. It will show the distribution of the values in the what? In the column. Let me untick this for now so that we don't create confusion. Right. You can see now. That is the distribution of the values in the column, right? How many distinct values and how many unique on that one, right? That is the distribution, and it can show you almost like a graphical, like that okay, our values are going to achenda kunosvika uko. Are you seeing that? Right, and from this you can see kuti data rako rakamira sei, how many empty values are there, and um how many how many unique values, how many empty values, among other things. So that is it on the preliminary stages. That is it on the preliminary stages. I think in the next lesson I'm going to I'm going to explain how to join this, or else let me do it now. Let me do it now.